Well, happy Saturday, folks. The real Captain Kirk here. We're live from One Bethlehem Plaza here in downtown Bethlehem here, the 10th of May. Hard to believe Mother's Day weekend here. We have a cool, very cool, actually, Saturday here. Blue sky day. Again, very windy, so it doesn't entirely feel like spring, but again, on the cool side here. Had a busy week here. We were actually down in Washington, D.C. this week for the World of DaaS Summit, and it was kind of a who's who. It was the senior FBI directors, congressmen, National Geospatial-Intelligence Director. My favorite was a 3-star general, so again, Air Force general. So we'll share that here with you in a bit. But again, we also spoke to our Wall Street clients here this past week, recapping Q1, which is in the history book for most retailers. And again, the trends are soft, cooler, a little bit drier. Still about average rainfall. It was a snowier start back in February, front half of Q1 here. So kind of negative trends here, soft, again, trends for retail seasonal sales. The clubs, the Walmarts, the Amazons of the world will do better, but again, some of the department stores and may not fare as well. So again, tough, challenging trends here. Q2, our outlook here, again, for retailers on a retail scale. I always say be careful here with a quarterly view because it's a lot of up and down, and we have a pretty soft June in the forecast, and actually the two holidays here in May, Memorial Day and Mother's Day, are pretty soft as well. So challenging trends probably continue here for Q2, and they get better as we get into Q3. So it's kind of some of the trends we showed here. Bars are cooler year over year, reds are warmer, so we want to see warmer, drier. We had that mid-March. That was a bright spot, and then the week of Easter, not before Easter, but the week of Easter got very hot that Easter weekend. And then cooler trends here as of late. So again, kind of soft as we go through the balance of Q2 here with the more cooler, wetter, and a couple cooler, drier. But again, what we want to see is hot and dry, and don't really have a much hotter, drier compared to last year's extreme conditions. Then we quantify this with our Power of 1 Degree technology here, just how seasonal sales, we track about 10,000 of these, impact due to the weather here. So Mother's Day week prior here was a cooler, wetter week. So again, all the trends are pretty much down 29% for air conditioners, 15% maybe for flowers, just too wet. Apparel down about 6%. So soft across the board here. Look at the severe weather here. Now, this only goes through 6 May here. Again, a little concern with some disruptions in the National Weather Service's data, again, with some budget cutbacks and furloughs and people being laid off again. So we'll see here. Again, it could impact some of this type of data here, short-range data, hourly updates and things that some of these agencies do here. So again, this goes through the 6th of May. Still tracking most in 14 years for wind and tornado, most in 8 years for hail. The week ahead outlook here again shows not much, some marginal risk down in the southeast, Florida. They'll take it. Again, East Coast has been so dry here, and again, we got a ton of rain here in May. We went from a drought to the wettest here in the Northeast, the wettest start to May in, I think, 27 years. So again, drought is being erased again along the East Coast here. Look at last week World Summer here. Now this is the week before Mother's Day here. So in the U.S., 1.9 cooler than last year, coolest in 4 years. Still 17th warmest in 40 years, so near, just slightly above average. Hot 90-degree days were actually down 64%, least in 6 years, 12th least in 40 years. And again, while drier, it was still 6th wettest in 40 years. So again, on the wet side for sure. Very, very wet, obviously, here in the East. There in the UK, actually cool, very, very cool, coolest in 14 years. Europe, mostly Eastern Europe was cooler. And then down in Brazil, again, there are crops in the ground, a little bit cooler, but still 3rd hottest in 40 years, so very hot. Fortunately, some rain, but it's going to dry out here in Brazil here for their second crop in the weeks ahead. Look at this week here again, the week of Mother's Day, going into a week ending 17 May. Transient pattern here. The west goes from hot to cold, and the cool in the east is going to got some warming trend coming. So it's a volatile transient. That Omega block is gone. Here in the U.S., about 2.2 warmer, warmest in 3 years, 5th warmest in 40. Hot days are actually up now, 58% over last year, most in 3, 3rd most in 40 years. So those hot 90-degree days, probably down there in Texas in the Central Plains, not so much in the Northeast. Looking at 40-year precip trends, again, 8% wetter, wettest in 10, 7th wettest in 40 years. We look at the week, hard to believe here, we're talking the week prior to Memorial Day, so week ending the 24th of May. Again, you see that transient pattern. It goes warm again in the west, so warm to cool to warm, so definitely a transient pattern. And the Midwest, again, goes from cool to hot to back to cool here, and this will eventually make it to the East Coast, probably toward Memorial Day weekend. 1.3 cooler nationally than last year, 9th warmest in 40 years, so above average, but 90-degree days down 22%. Still 10th most in 40 years, and rainfall, again, still up, 12% wetter than last year, wettest in 3 years, 15th wettest in 40 years, so again, again, cooler, wetter type of trend is just not great for seasonal sales on a national scale. And we aggregate these. Be careful here with the World 2-week aggregate here because, again, we're transient pattern here. So it's cool to warm to cool to warm, up and down. Central Eastern Europe definitely looks to remain on the cool side here. And the World 2-week precipitation outlook here through the 24th of May. Again, wet spot is probably going to be there in the southeast, east coast here, and drying out down in Brazil, again, for their second crop that's in the ground. We'll end here with our World of DaaS Summit. Again, it was about 150 CEOs from data science companies. Met some really cool companies, and the general here, so we'll show you that. It was some of the conference was at the Watergate Hotel, which was interesting, a very, very old hotel, but again, obviously has some history. And again, this was my favorite, was Lieutenant General. He's a 3-star, up for 4-star, actually. Alex, won't try to pronounce his last name here, but Director of Operations Joint Staff with the Air Force. Again, that was the personal highlight. So again, we'll show some of the White House tours and the things we got to do here with this group. And on that note, have a great week, and we will talk to you this time next week.